Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Man, there was one heck of a delay with StreamYards today. They hate me today over there on StreamYards. But hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans, it's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple nerdy veterans, a Stabby Chaos Coordinator who is MIA. She's probably stabbing someone and hiding the body in a casserole or something. That's what she does. And a chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to let our guests introduce themselves to our listeners viewers at home. And we're starting round robin. And since you are a guest today, not as a host, since it's your product, Nick, if they don't know who you are, can you introduce yourself?
I mean, I would like to say that I'm quasi-famous, but not really. Mostly in certain underground circles where we talk about how Pinky and Brain are going to destroy the universe and how we can get on board for that. When I'm not doing that, I'm a independent comic book creator. I am the president and CFO of Apogee Comics. Not only am I a client, but I'm also the owner or whatever they used to do for the hair plug shit. So I create fantastical worlds and fantastical realities that Mr. Hasso here tries to steal from me and completely alter. And then we come to a middle of the road agreement to where this is going to be marketable.
Yeah. There's only one thief in comics. Everyone else is just getting their stuff back. That's how this works.
That's true. I mean, it worked well for me in the Army. Like, there's no thieves in the Army. It's just like two dudes, and then everyone else is just trying to get their shit back.
Absolutely. Now, when you told me you were famous, I thought you were going to tell me about that time you were in the 82nd and you were making videos, but apparently that wasn't you.
No, that wasn't me because I had never served in the 82nd and I'm sorry for our all-American paratroopers out there. You guys are fucking legs. I was part of the 2nd and the 75th, so anything below that is a complete fucking leg.
You know what video I'm talking about? We won't go there on live, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, homosexual erotica that happened on Fort Bragg. I had nothing to do with that, but I might have been a camera operator because I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. If they were cosplaying as sailors, though, totally okay, and we're going to allow it. We'll
yeah, but they didn't. They didn't even think forward. Be like, hey, we're going to put sailor caps on, so they think it's DON. They're like, nope, we're just going to raw dog it here with our all-American badges. So
I remember when I was in high school locally, speaking of people that are not smart enough to think their way out of a paper bag, some sailors robbed a local Navy Federal and they wore their uniforms. They covered up their name tape, but not the ball cap that said what ship they were on.
Oh, my Lord. Nombre way.
I mean, at a certain point in time, you just line up people at the right height and build, and you can start narrowing it down pretty quickly.
And color, because you can.
Oh, that's right. Because if they didn't wear gloves, you could see their hands. Yeah.
Yep.
We would not call those people thinkers.
No, they were definitely not Einstein worthy or Darwin worthy at that point.
Hopefully, they were not nuclear engineers.
They probably were. That's the sad part.
All right, Matthew, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers at home?
No, it's okay. No.
I mean, you can tell us like long walks on the beach or something weird.
No, you're good. My name is Matthew Hasso. I am a freelance writer. Every so often, I get to hang out with Nick and you guys and do cool stuff. I think last time I was here, we talked about cartoons. But yes, I am the writer on Quicksilver. What the crap am I doing?
I don't know. You're about to get sued by Marvel is what you're about to do.
I know. Quickwire is our speedster, and that is what we're here to talk about today. And thank you so much to Harstroke for making it come to life. Harstroke, introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, how's everyone? I'm Harstroke. I am the artist for Quickwire, and that's it. Just a boy that likes.
No, you do the letters too.
I did the letters too. Yeah,
there you go.
I forgot about that.
So you got two roles in this comic. Nombre way.
Yeah. I hope I can still do the lettering. Actually, I really enjoyed that part.
No, we enjoyed your letters. We do have some notes, and you'll see that in an email pretty soon. But we're pleased.
When he lifts, the letters actually appear above his head. It goes like woof woof. I mean, he's the original Batman in that respect.
No, Harstroke has not gotten the email that says like, yeah, thanks for your services on the previous issue, but your services are no longer needed in the moving forward. So if you don't get that letter, it's pretty good. But since this episode is airing, what,
On the
mid-November?
17th? Yeah, we're airing it near when you told me to, the 17th.
Okay, so I think Matthew is just kind of like downplaying his role in the company right now. So I think this is the time, since
Oh, okay.
it's going to
That's right.
air. Matthew, you know what? I'm super proud of you, and I think you should be the one to kind of like segue this announcement. And I think you know the announcement I'm about to make.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to leave it to Matthew Hasso.
Like jalapenos.
Jalapeno hustle.
Like
same thing.
jalapenos and habaneros, even though habaneros is with an H,
You know-
which is very confusing.
Bro, for years, up until I was like 38 years old, I could never get anybody to say my last name right. It would be Jaso, Jaso, Yaso, Aso, Haso, all over the place. And one day I was like, jalapeno hasso. And since then, everybody's gotten it right.
No, for like 2 years, you were
Jaso.
you were hassle or asshole. But,
I mean, both apply. Both apply.
Sometimes.
But yeah,
I since self-corrected, so it's hasso now.
I
got
appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yes, what Nick is talking about is it is technically November, even though it's still October when we record this. That about what? Probably back ever since August or maybe in July.
We
I've-
talked about it then, yeah. Pretty early
Yeah,
on.
I have stepped into the role of editor-in-chief over at Apogee. So I am now over all the writers, making sure the artists have the assignments they need to have, helping organize stuff like this, even though I had nothing to do with this particular podcast.
I'm paying a big money for this shit too.
Yeah, doubled my pay of nothing to double nothing.
What,
Double
what's
down.
pay of 0 if you multiply it? I
Yeah.
don't know.
But no, it's been a lot of fun over the last couple months to kind of work more with Renee. I brought on another writer who we will announce later. He and I are working on a project behind the scenes.
Oh, we could probably announce him now, yeah.
You want to go ahead? Okay. So
Sure.
Ray McKay is now working on a project he and I are co-writing. And then we've already completed the second issue, probably now branching off into some other stuff now that he's kind of yeah.
HFIC, that's the title
Yeah.
right there. That's on the business card. I'll print those out when I get home.
But yeah, he's a good kid and does a ton of stuff. I don't know why he listens to me, but he listens to me. So
No, I do. I'm
yeah.
not going to stroke your ego here right now. I'll do
yeah,
it.
you don't have to. I'm still surprised. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and it's also been. I don't want to say my dream has been to be an editor in chief, but I love writing stories and creating stories. So to be able to do an entire universe like this, that's not just stuff I made up myself, has been a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to the next year or so.
5 to 10 years. I own you.
Yeah. Contracts for till I'm 90.
Well, here's the thing with Matthew. Like, when we first started working together, when I wanted to like revamp Phantom Hawk, and he came up with Resolute, that 4-issue arc, I thought, like, this is the guy that's going to help me manage and wrangle in the Apogee universe. You know, I got a bunch of one-shots out there that really had no connection to the other parts of the universe. So we had multiple conversations, and I was like, "Listen, you're the dude," and he denied me like 3 times, like I was Jesus and he was an apostle. Like, you're gonna deny me 3 times and then you're gonna accept me. Not saying that I'm fucking Marvel Jesus or anything, but I'm Marvel Jesus.
It'd be Apogee Jesus, but okay.
Correction, I'm Apogee Jesus. So like he got a really good feel for the universe and how it could all connect. And I listened to him, and any good leader is going to be listening to his subordinate leaders and how they view things. And I was like, yeah, this all makes sense, and how you want to connect it makes sense. So it's really rare that somebody creates a sandbox to play in and invites other people in and they get it. You know, because I've had multiple artists and writers try to do Phantom Hawk. They always want to do the same thing and write him as Batman. He didn't do that. He asked the in-depth questions like, okay, so how is he not Batman? I'm like, well, this is how he's not Batman. And he's like, okay, I got this. And then he wrote a script that I was like, shit, dude, you got it. Like, you figured it out. Like, this is how that character needs to be written outside of me doing it myself. So you got it. He got the job. And then he's like, what other characters you got? I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if you're ready for that yet. And he's like, yeah, I'm ready. And I'm like, all right, cool. So this is what I got. I got Bengali over here. I got Solana Prime over here. You know, I got this other project, you know, Task Force Blackjack. And I'm not saying we got along famously on every aspect. Like, we fought a lot on all those projects. He's
Well,
like,
and it's the discussion you have to have. You have to have those moments of, yeah, okay, but what about this? And I think we've created a really good balance of there's a level I'm willing to push, a level you're willing to let me push, and
right.
vice versa. And I think
I
that's
think
where
the biggest fight we had was Downs and Gonzo and Phantom Off. He's like, why do we need these characters? I'm like, read the first 5 issues that I put out, and you'll understand how that interaction plays into the Ultimate Universe. They're the C3PO and R2D2 of my universe. They're the everyday man that's seeing what's going on. And he's like, I don't think so. I really want to ride him out. I'm like, dude, just do me this favor.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fire you. I'm just saying, do me this favor and read those first 5 issues. And he read them, and he's like, okay, I get it now. I'm like, thank you. He goes, all right, they are actually the human linchpin and observer of what's going on in the Phantom Hawk universe. I'm like, see, I told you. All you got to do is trust me, man. And then we had some discussions. I wouldn't call them arguments. We had discussions with Blackjack, which is going to be coming out somewhere in 2026. You know, he's like, hey, what kind of range do I have with these characters? And I'm like, you pretty much have free range, but I have to approve it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I want to switch these 2 characters' power sets. I'm like, okay, which one? He's like, Queen and King. I'm like, I don't want to draw a giant buff chick. You know,
yeah, because I think, and it's interesting. It's the same thing that happens with a lot of creatives, is that we create these characters and then we keep them. We keep them for decades. We keep them for decades.
And I understand I'm stuck in that mode. Like, when I created King, he was a Bad Rock knockoff.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's like, hey, I want to switch it with Queen and then take Queen's power set and move to King. I'm like, man, I don't even know how that's going to look. I got to draw this normal white blonde haired dude because he's part of the royal family. And then I got to draw this, what I originally designed as a super hot French chick as a giant hulking mass. Now, do I draw like a female Bad Rock, or do I like do a She-Hulk? Like, I have no idea. And I'm at this point now where I'm like, I'm just going to let the artist decide.
Yeah.
Well, that's now his problem, and I'll give him credit for character design, but
well, and I think too is like sometimes you have to. I'm guilty of it, going back through some of my old stuff as well, where you read this, you're like, yeah, when I was in high school in the 90s, these were the tropes. These tropes are no more.
And those characters, the characters I created for Apogee, were all born in the 90s, the image era.
So I think that's what happens sometimes is when I look at it, I'm like, no, I've done so much of that with my own characters that when you let me look at yours, I'm like, I did this to myself. I'm gonna do this to Nick.
You bastard. All right, let's not get off track. JR has some other questions for us. Can we have the religion questions?
Oh, that's right.
We do. Now that everyone's introduced themselves, and
sorry, we're not trying to like totally take over the show, bro.
Did we even let Heartstroke introduce himself, or did we get sidelined with
Oh my God!
I introduced him.
Harsh, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Or can I?
Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself more.
Yeah, can I speak? Sir?
I almost forgot him. I'm sorry, man. Lo siento.
I'm Heartstroke. I'm the Quickwire artist, and that's it.
No, that's not true. You got that shark book that you're working on.
Oh yeah, my first comic book, my first real. How do you say it? Gig or gig when you play something?
Your first gig. Yeah, your gig.
My first professional gig was with Shark of War. I'm still working with that. It's
But-
just a different comic book, like more like a shark exploitation stuff. Really cool, really funny.
But you've been on that for a couple issues, right?
I've been doing that since issue 7, and right now I am doing the issue 9. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
you got like 3 solid issues going on there, and the artwork's phenomenal. if
And
you
I
haven't
am
seen it.
working on my personal project that it's called Ultra. It's about punks and it's ultra violent. That's why it's named Ultra.
I'm not saying I'm privy to some preview pages,
Yeah, I saw.
but I did, and they're awesome.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
like,
Yeah. Hopefully,
he's gonna
we'll
outgrow
see
us.
it fulfilled next year. Hopefully, it's getting slow. It's cooking slowly, but it's getting really good.
How am
Oh,
I not seeing these
The
pages?
preview page has been amazing
Why am I not seeing this stuff? Why am I not seeing the pages,
It's
bro?
about-
because it's not Apogee. Even though I'm trying to
Yeah,
buy
it's
the
not
IP,
happening. It's not
I'm trying to
super-
buy the IP, Matthew, so you have control.
So Matthew,
Okay.
That's fun stuff. You know, Apogee is about fun and good comics and good storytelling and good time. But that stuff, you're gonna have a bad time reading that.
Okay. I like
I
it.
don't think
like
so. I don't think so. I think Apogee can.
I hope you.
So
If not,
in
I'm
addition
not doing
to,
my work.
in addition to drawing cool things and telling awesome stories, Heartstroke also likes to pick up heavy things and put them down. So in the pre-show, he took us to the gun show.
Yeah, take us to the gun show, bro.
Yeah, it'll
And
be.
so I was able to brag that I finally, since I started lifting in July, there was a Lamaze class that meets at the same time I go. It's all female lifters that are also pregnant. And because they're like due any day now, like, their bellies are getting in the way of the lifting, I finally outlifted them. So I was able to get my own little bragging. I mean, the baby got in the way. I'm still taking the win.
A win's a win, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's however
No,
you guys
me and Harsh have talked about weightlifting because he's
Yeah.
seen my socials and whatnot. He's like, "Hey, you lift weights, bro?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And then I had the stroke. I'm getting back into it. And he's like, "I lift weights too, man." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we started talking about PRs and shit.
Yeah,
And
I have.
I'm a mature bodybuilder. I hope to compete next year, but I'm still too
Cool.
skinny. I feel just still too skinny. Yeah, for that.
That's
Yeah,
why my classes are a thing.
Harsh needs more carbohydrates and protein in his diet.
Yeah.
So what he's telling you is you need to buy more of his stuff so he can afford more protein bars.
That's it.
Absolutely. That is the selling point right there.
For the body. Yeah.
That's absolutely you're doing the Lord's work and helping him lift up heavy things. Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
would approve.
I'm getting tired of sending them giant vats of protein powder, like
Yeah.
within 55-gallon drums. It gets expensive, especially shipping it to Mexico with tariffs and whatnot. Help me out.
Yeah.
Buy
So
his
this-
stuff.
The good
This
thing
is
is he
part-
doesn't need one of those dolls to draw. He just kind of lifts off the shirt and he's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'm running.
Oh,
This is the pose."
This is my anatomy knowledge. That's it.
Well,
So-
yeah,
so
I mean, we
this-
see that in Tyler in Quickwire. It's like, I'm pretty sure I'm just looking at Harsh here doing speedster shit.
So I'm waiting for the day that Heartstroke
Even with
has
the hair.
where like Joey Swall is taking notes. I'm like, oh, that's how you do that one. That's when you know you've arrived in the weightlifting world. When
Yeah,
Joey
well,
Swall is sights you.
I don't need to uplift Joey Swall. Joey Swall uplifts himself, so I'm trying to lift up
All right,
my crew.
so this is the Blasters and Blades, and so we do have to do the religion question. Are you gentlemen ready for this?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, it would be too easy to ask your favorite superhero, so I'm going to ask you, what is your 4th favorite superhero?
Oh my lord!
Iron Fist.
All right,
Okay.
Matthew's gonna just lead off of that shit. Good.
That
Wow,
one.
that makes me wonder what your your top 3 are.
Yeah.
Nightwing, Captain America, Batman.
Oh my shit! He
Why
had that
not
on hot
you?
standby. Now I feel embarrassed.
Do what?
Why
I feel
not
embarrassed.
this person?
Like, why is Nightwing my favorite?
Yeah. Why?
Because I like the idea of a sidekick who actually became something beyond his mentor. Because everybody else just became a pale version and/or took up the mantle of their mentor. Wally
Right.
West, Speedy, all that, and I just feel like he became better than his mentor, even by his
just-
mentor's
I'm
standards.
just saying Speedy's
All
going
right.
to Arsenal now, but whatever.
I thought because he has a good ass, I thought well he was.
I mean, can't deny them cakes. Can't deny them cakes.
Boy does squats. He doesn't
Yeah.
skip leg day.
I mean, there's a reason why it's facing that way.
This is what normally I would tell you. There are certain parts where you wish you were watching the video so you could get the full effect and not listening to us on audio only. Today is not that day. Don't watch that section.
Don't watch the video.
No, don't watch that one. Okay.
I proclaim you.
Who else is fourth? Who's fourth? Go.
I like Captain America just because I like to see an army boy made good. So I'm digging Captain America. I don't know enough other superheroes, but I like that one on your list. All right, Nick. So Heartstroke has a second to think. Nick, fourth favorite.
Does that have to be a hero or it can be a villain?
I said superhero. I mean, we can come back to villains.
Okay. Oh, superhero. I'm gonna go with Reed Richards. That's my fourth.
Who is Reed Richards? I don't know that one.
Reed Richards is also known as
Fantastic?
Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four. His powers that he can stretch. He's also one of the greatest minds in the Marvel Universe, next to Spider-Man, Amos Cho, and
T'Challa.
T'Challa.
Everybody else on the Illuminati, Professor
Yeah.
X, Namor.
or the Freedom Foundation.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Storm is also a high intellect genius, even though they don't portray that in the books, but I digress.
Okay.
So what did I say?
Reed
Mr.
Richards.
Fantastic.
Oh, Reed Richards. Okay.
All right.
A solid list.
I got lost in my own list, dude. It happens. I apologize.
You're good. You're good. All right, Heartstroke, what's your four?
World is The Darkness by Mark Silvestri. But
Oh.
first one is Batman, second Wolverine, third is Spawn, then The Darkness, 5 is Daredevil.
Nice.
That's my boy, rank 5.
Yeah, I know, but it's because The Darkness is edgier and sexier and all the stuff around that.
Is it because he's Catholic?
Yeah, and that's because of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Darkness is Catholic. He's
He was-
Italian Catholic. He's Roman Catholic.
If he was evangelical, he will be maybe second. Maybe.
All right, I'm not going to fault you because The Darkness is cool to draw. If you
said The
as an
Darkness,
artist out
Batman,
there,
Wolverine, Daredevil, and who was the other one you listed?
No, fourth was
Was
Darkness.
Batman, Wolverine, Spawn, and The
Oh,
Darkness.
Spawn was the one I didn't hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a solid top 5 list because Daredevil's in there. That's why I call it top 5 list. Darkness is super cool to draw, and if you're an artist out there, pick up Silvestri's work on The Darkness, mid '90s. It'll push you into realms that you didn't think were possible with your artwork.
Yeah, that's
I still
Very
say Mark Silvestri did the best Colossus of all time. No one drew Colossus the way he does.
That's
Which
true.
is-
And Archangel.
The big old silver dude with the
Yeah, I
armor from the
know-
X-Men.
I know him, but which?
Silvestri, the guy who created Darkness.
Yeah, but which
Silvestri. Late '90s.
late
Late
90s.
So when Image
never
took all the high class
collected.
talent,
Yeah,
Sylvester got put in Uncanny X-Men,
yeah.
and he was nailing it. He was doing good.
My
And then
favorite-
they stole him.
My favorite stuff from Silvestri is his New X-Men by Grant Morrison. It's amazing. That stuff is my. I
That
look
was
at it-
after Frank Quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of stuff from that arc. Yeah.
Of course, there's stuff to take out of Frank Quietly's work too, even though it's kind of like symmetrical and
Gross.
Yeah, different. I like it.
All right. So this one you could answer from the dark side with villains as well. But
thank you.
what is, because we are polytheistic here at the Blasters and Blades podcast, what is your favorite superhero or villain gadget?
Oh shit.
Oof.
In comics?
In comics?
No, because I was trying to think can I say the
Yeah, I
Tumbler
mean,
from the Dark
in real
Knight?
life?
I was saying, can I say the Tumbler from the Batman Begins series? I love the Tumbler. That Batmobile's insanely cool.
Sure.
But
It's true.
sure, the Tumbler. I love the Tumbler. It makes the science is nonsense, but when Morgan Freeman tells you that a car can make a rampless jump, I'm on board. Let's do it. Give me that car now.
That's actually based off a real military vehicle.
Okay, there we go. The bridge doesn't work though, right?
It kind of works. Where the military is like, yeah, it kind of works, so we're going to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it works for the first 3 guys. Everybody else questionable.
You're on your own. Good luck. I hope you like wet clothes.
Our stroke. What's your favorite, brother? What's your favorite?
Mine, I think Venom symbiote.
Oh.
Symbiote.
That's
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah,
That's a
okay.
good one.
that's it. Yeah,
I mean, I guess that qualifies as a gadget since it's just a tool he's using.
yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right, Nick, that's you, buddy.
It's the Omega beams with dark side for me. I think that's probably one of the most. It outdoes the Infinity Glove, which is also a candy.
That's more like a power.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
It could be a gadget. I don't know. He said power or gadget, right?
No, I said
Oh.
gadget.
Oh shit. Well then,
Yeah,
with gadget.
We are in
Gadget,
this because the symbiote is the same. It's not a
No,
gadget.
I have an answer I have an answer for the gadget too. It's the Eye of Agamotto from Doctor Strange, which Doctor Doom had possession of for a little bit, and he used it to manipulate time. So I think that was the most destructive thing. I didn't want to be a fucking cheese dick and be like, "Yo, the Infinity fucking Glove." Then all the tourists in the comic book world were like, "Yeah, the Infinity Glove." And I'm like, "Well, the Infinity Glove is used for both things: destruction and reunification." You know, that's why the Illuminati and Marvel Comics was formed, so they guard the power of the Thanos Gauntlet with the Infinity Stones. Blah blah blah, and everyone falls asleep while I'm talking about it. So,
Yeah, and I'll change
so
my.
I think it's
Uh-oh.
so, but it's subject to say that I do know my comic book history and I do read comic books. I'm not a tourist. So the Eye of Agamotto in the possession of Doctor Doom is a very effective and dangerous plot device and gadget.
Okay, but can we be clear real quick that there is nothing wrong with tourism in the arts because they're valuable customers too.
I'm that guy.
No, there's not. It's when you get into an argument with a tourist where there's 3 of us here that are like have spent decades reading these comics and it's become our lives for so long. And for you to come in here and be like, well, what about this? And we have like all this subject matter, like totally counters the argument. They're like, because I watched everything in the MCU like 3 times, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not the MCU, man. It's like if we're talking comics, it's this. If we're talking movies, it's that. But you haven't set the parameters in which we're discussing. So there's nothing wrong with tourism because tourism leads to the deeper shit that we're all into, which is great. You're never gonna have money for drugs ever again because you're gonna be looking for back issues.
It's that old meme you keep telling yourself as you're buying more books that at least it's not drugs, at least it's not gambling.
Oh, absolutely. It's 100% accurate, that meme. It's like, I don't have money for drugs because I'm in a comic book shop every Wednesday and Sunday looking for back issues of shit and new issues of shit where I'm trying to like, oh, well, I missed a couple of issues of Marvel's Dark Ages, which is a great storyline, by the way. And like, I can't find like the in between. I can't find issue 3 through 5. I got 1 and 2 and I got 6 and 7, but I'm like, I can't read the rest until I get this shit. And like nobody has it because it was a bestseller. And I probably had awesome cover art.
All
Just
right.
wait for the trade.
So this is what is your favorite vehicle? And I know somebody said the tumbler from Batman is obviously that's a vehicle, but what is your favorite vehicle from a superhero franchise? And I'll start with an easy one. I like the invisible plane because of this concept. It's so ridiculous from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because the only visible participant is the operator.
Yeah.
Right, but it led to so many funny memes where the Air Force would have like the ladder to get into a jet sitting there by itself, and it'd be like Wonder Woman's plane, and like would be a joke on all the air bases. And I can appreciate that.
Robot Chicken had a very sexual joke that accommodated that.
We are family friendly, so we're gonna ignore that joke.
I'm just saying, Brett, just go watch Robot Chicken. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stick with the tumbler. That's fine. I love that thing. I think that thing is so cool. Even though
That's the nickname for my
That's
Equinox.
basic.
Do what?
That's the nickname for my Equinox. Is the tumbler?
The tumbler. Nice.
Yeah, because it's black in color and it's all bulky and whatever.
But
It doesn't have
the
a
new
wrench.
one from Pattinson's Batman, like that crazy like Camaro on steroids, is also really cool.
It was
Oh,
a Corvette. It was a Corvette chassis.
Since
Yeah.
we mentioned the Batman, the Batmobile van looking thing from like the original TV show that looked like he just moved into the suburbs was kind of cool too.
Oh, which one was that?
I will find a picture of it and I'll throw it up while you guys are talking. It's
You're
you'll know
talking
when
to
you
a
see it.
bunch of ultra nerds, bro. You got to come back with a little bit more information. Then it looked like a van. I'm like, so
Yeah.
we're all running through our personal database. I'm like, we don't remember seeing that in '66.
Yeah, I don't know. The absolute Batmobile looks like a big old construction van. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Oh, maybe that is it. Because it does. You're right.
What about you, Hardstroke? What is your favorite
My
vehicle?
favorite Ghost Rider's motorcycle.
Oh shit, that's a good
Nice.
one.
That's
Dude.
badass, yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah, I
Oh,
like that. What
damn.
about you, Nick? What you got?
I'm gonna go with the Fantastic Car. I like the idea of this like weird jet like a thing that broke up into 4 separate pieces based on who was operating it. Like thing always kind of had the bow, and then Johnny just left the fucking thing altogether because he can fly. So it like was left
Yeah.
up between Sue and Reed to like, okay, we got these 3 other pieces. How do we do this? You know, so they'd like Reed would keep like 2 sections of the car together, and then Sue would control the stern with all the propulsion. You know, I thought it was cool. It was a really cool gimmick. Like I'm a big fan of Marvel's First Family, especially in the
Yeah.
'60s, because they did this most outrageous shit. You know, I just thought it was cool.
I
You know
imagine
what
the section of the vehicle always with a whiskey bottle.
Right, right. Like nobody cared. It's like they're like, what about this? As opposed to physics, they're like, shh, just Stan's like, be quiet, and he told Kirby, just keep drawing. You know.
Nice.
All
All right, what's
I-
the next
Now,
question?
I feel like nowadays we have to explain every little damn thing when
Hold
we
on,
create
I
a
am
vehicle
pulling
in our
the
universe.
I am pulling the image up real quick of the vehicle I was talking about. This is very
JR
important.
hates to be wrong. He's gonna pull receipts, bro. He's about to pull receipts.
All right,
Let's
so
see this
this
thing.
is the it's I found it because I am a lover of all things meme related, and so I saw it on a meme and I just
Oh
thought it was
my
hilarious.
lord, what's coming? What's coming? What's in the box?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh my
You
lord,
got-
what do we got?
this is
What do we got? What do we got?
you can see I'm doing it right now. The other one is your favorite villain, and this can be from any of it as well.
Favorite villain.
Favorite villain? Let's see. It's kind of a cross. I really like conceptually, I like that is
Oh
not
my!
real. That was never in
That was
anything.
never in the show. What the
I
hell?
have seen it on several of the merch stuff. You can even buy models of that.
Yes,
I
I'm
have-
sure you can, but it is not. It is not. on
That
the
was
show.
never in the original series in '66.
It's very interesting looking, but no, bad.
Well, hell, I thought it looked cool and it was a funny meme.
Don't get me wrong. I want one. But
We would all drive it. It just wasn't on the show.
it just wasn't in '66. That's not canon.
See that? I guess I'm a tourist.
No, you just fell into a really good meme.
Yeah. No, I
That
think
happens.
for me, like one of the coolest characters is a character called Wrath. He's a Batman villain, but he's Batman for villains. So like he fights the cops, he fights superheroes so that the villains can get away with their crimes. And there's just something really cool about that, having somebody who's helping the villains pull off their heists. I think it's cool as hell. He's like a super intelligent henchman. He's probably one of my favorite villains.
Who is this? Say that one more time.
Wrath, he's a Batman character.
Okay, I don't know that one, but I like.
He's
the
appeared
Appears to
in
me.
he's appeared in the some of the cartoons. It's one of these like he'll show up for like 6 issues and then he won't be around for 15 years and then he pops up again. It's really random.
Until
He was in
the writers remember that he exists.
yeah, and then his Robin is named Scorn. He's like he has his own little sidekick and everything.
Oh yeah, Wrath and Scorn.
Yeah, so that's probably one of my more favorites.
Favorite dudes.
What about you? Nick?
I am a big fan of I'm trying to remember his name. He's mostly a Nova and Doctor Strange villain. He was in the first movie, starts with a D. What's his name?
Doom, Dr. Doom.
Demano. Demano? No, that's not right.
Dormammu.
So he's like a dark entity that has no form, even though he has a form. And he plays havoc mostly with like the reality of not only the Nova Corps, because he's a cosmic entity, but also with Doctor Strange because he's also a dimensional entity at the same time. So like, if you read a lot of Apogee's books, you could see what I was into when I created these people and their worlds. Like, okay, so Bengali, he was really into Spawn and Venom. All right. Phantom Hawk, he was into a lot of the street beaters, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we go into Cardinal, he's really into this guy. He's, you know, we go into some of the other characters, like, okay, so he liked Avengers and he liked Fantastic Four and he liked X-Men and blah 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 because he's putting these elements in there, you know. So instead of reinventing the wheel, which we don't need to do, even as creators, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to create something memorable. You know, you just have to take elements from that was special to you when you read them and put it into a different context. You know, and that's where Matthew comes in. He helps me do that, so I don't have to. I'm not ripping off things or characters or IPs. I'm going into which the spirit for it's intended, which was to be its own creative IP as we move forward with elements that make them interesting. So I think we all need somebody like that, and that Matthew, once again, thank you. You kind of kept me in that realm. So yeah, Dormammu, as far as my greatest villain. Doctor Doom is a close second because I was inundated with that imagery since the 80s with the old Spider-Man series and a new Spider-Man series and the Fantastic Four series, blah, blah, blah. So, and the comics.
So what about you, Harshstroke? Who is your favorite?
Outside comic books, I think it's Ghostface.
Ghostface?
Yeah, Ghostface from
Scream.
And I was going to say Scary Movie. Yeah. I think it's like so iconic. Like now he's a character in Fortnite, so it's like pretty good. Also in Mortal Kombat, and I always use it. And a lot of friends, they say I have his personality. Like, yeah.
So if we're going outside of comics, because I don't know if this would count, but the Inspector Gadget villain, Dr. Claw, because he's so incompetent, it's amusing. And he's like, because that's, you grew up in cartoons. That was one of the first ones we watched that had a very clear bad guy. And I know there were bad guys in G.I. Joe, but I don't know that I necessarily call them villains per se. So that's why I'm not counting like Destro and all the bad guys from G.I. Joe. But Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, because he's a bumbling idiot, which makes it funny.
Yeah, and he had that cat too. He's like, you'll pay for this cat.
I watched it. Every time I watched, I'm like, he's going to squish the cat's head, right? I kept waiting for that.
He was fairly gentle with the cat.
But then again, Inspector Gadget was a bumbling idiot too, saved only by his niece, Penny.
His niece and her dog.
Which was a derivative of Get Smart. Same voice actor. The lead from Get Smart was the voice actor for Inspector Gadget when that came out.
That I did not know. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with uplifting, like the fact that the girl is smart. I just hate when we feel like to do those tropes, we have to make the other a moron. Like, why can't all police just be smart? Like, but it's a product of its time.
All the successes are based on the secondary and tertiary characters.
But I also like the gadgets because this is before I was old enough to watch like Bond, where you had Q making all the gadgets. In fact, the Bond gadgets were so good. At one point in time, the British military called the guy that was making the props for the Bond movies, and he wanted to know that little piece that had them breathing underwater. Like, he wanted them for the British military, and like, it's a prop. They were holding their breath. No. I want the ones you used to, like, they couldn't grasp that it wasn't real. It was a movie.
It's acting.
MI5 was looking for tips. They were looking for spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing. Like, that whole Inspector Gadget thing, like, it created a massive toy line. I know because my parents bought into it because I begged them to buy it. You know.
Yeah. All right. And now the most important question of all questions. Are you three ready for this? All right. We are civilized human beings here at the Blash and Blades podcast. We are no longer knuckle dragging troglodytes. So, coffee or tea, and how do you take it? Matt, we're going to go to you first.
Coffee, usually black with some kind of sugar-free sweetener.
All right. I was going to say black like your soul, but then you made it sweet. So, a little sugar.
Just like his soul. Just like his soul.
Fabulous.
Black with a little sweetener.
All right. Nick, you're going to surprise me?
Recently I switched to Rise mushroom coffee, and it's really good.
Okay.
So I make that for my wife every morning. She drinks that. She can't have regular coffee. So,
I really can't do the caffeinated because it messes with my blood pressures, and I'm on like 9,000 different blood pressure medications right now. And I assume that most of the audience wants to see me keep, doing what I do, and I'd be 6 feet better.
That'd be bad.
Well, so I do the Rise.
It also helps. All bets are off.
Yeah, it's true. The only person that I bring back to life is probably Stabby. She's not on this show right now. So, and I'm also 3,000 miles away, so I don't know how her powers are going to fucking affect that. But the Rise coffee, it gives me a little boost. It's flavorful, and I don't have to put any sweetener in it. I drink it black, and it helps with the neuropathy in my hands and feet, which my audience enjoys because it allows me to draw a little bit longer and make really cool content.
Okay. What about you, Harshstroke?
None of them. I like coffee because of the caffeine, but now I get my caffeine from pills and Monster. So
Monster counts.
Really,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the pills are cocaine, but that's okay.
I mean,
I never tried
keeps those energy levels up.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's been a while. I haven't drink coffee actually. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Monster flavor?
Coffee flavor.
I just found yesterday actually the pink one, strawberry.
Okay,
that's a good one. Yeah,
I like the white one because it's the gym rats.
It's classic. Yeah,
it's a classic. But yesterday I was like, no, I'm gonna take the pink one because I was with my Powerpuff Girls T-shirt.
Oh my,
that is awesome.
When I have to squat. And I was like, no, I want a pink one, and it was really, really good. Yeah.
I got a set of shorts for you for squat for leg day, and I'll send them to you.
Are they
super short? It's the Ranger panties, man. It's gonna be all butt cheek. It's gonna be awesome.
Wait a minute. Are you sure that's safe for him to wear at the gym? I mean, the ladies might come on to him, and then he might not draw for you anymore.
No, I'm willing to prepare. I'm willing for that risk.
He's got his priorities straight.
It makes your legs look good. It makes your ass look even better. And then you mix that with an orange sunrise monster. You're fucking good, bro.
We'll try.
See, I have the role where my side gig is I'm a reverse stripper, so I start off naked and they pay me to put my clothes back on, and so I have a pair of those Ranger panties too. But they're like, yeah, no, more, please, sweats, no, parka, no, just for winter.
I've he has a GoFundMe that I give him $50 a month on, so to keep his clothes on. So if anybody wants to contribute to that, you can go to.
All right,
No,
so
Only dressed. There's not OnlyFans. It's only
it's not
dressed.
OnlyFans. It's like
I saw a
only
dude
rap.
driving around with a it was like an OnlyFans logo, but it said only tacos, and I'm like, holy crap, I could get behind this.
Yeah, only tacos.
Heck yeah.
Send me the link, bro. I'll get on there. Some
You mail me
birria,
like a taco
birria, some lengua, some pozole
I hope
with
you try
barbacoa.
real tacos, actually, not stuff like Taco Bell. But you're
No,
talking about.
see, Taco Bell isn't even real meat. Please don't sue us, but it's not real meat.
No,
I
a
mean,
lot of us Heartstroke actually have had real tacos because we stole people from Mexico to
You
fucking make
have
them.
to come here to Mexico City to try real tacos.
All right, we're gonna have to do a field trip at some point and meet up
I'm
with
in.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have local restaurants owned by people that are,
They're
recent
Mexican.
immigrants that are running restaurants. Although I understand, I took a history of food course in college, and there are like 27 different food regions in the nation of Mexico.
Yeah.
So you got to be really, really specific on what you're asking for when you're talking to someone from Mexico, because they might be talking about something different, and you're talking about the same food.
Like Heartstroke's gonna be super mad when he comes to San Antonio if we go for a Mexican dinner because it's not gonna be the same
No, please, no.
in
I
Mexico
want
City.
steak. I just want meat and McDonald's. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no
And
Mexican
Miller.
food.
Deal, brother.
You're
Not
going to
Taco
Bill
Bell,
Miller.
please.
We are not doing a commercial today because the sponsor of this episode is Quickwire, not Quicksilver because we don't want to get sued. Quickwire
Yeah.
by
Right.
Apogee Comics. So why don't we start talking about that? So you can tell us all about it, Nick. Can you give us the Reader's Digest of the concept?
I'm going to give you a little quick snippet because I think the main man behind this character is Matthew on the literary side, and the main guy that made it possible on the visual side is Heartstroke. So here's what I can tell you about Quickwire. I always wanted a speedster, but I didn't know how to do a speedster that wasn't going to fall into the same speedster tropes. I mean, I did and I didn't. I didn't think that hard about it. So the original incantation of Quickwire was a character called Charger. And I presented it to Matthew, and he sent me a vomiting emoji, to which I took offense to. So I was like, okay, all right.
Well, hold on. Maybe the emoji was just because he had Taco Bell.
No, it
no,
wasn't, because that would have been the shit emoji and like the peaches emoji, like it was coming out of his ass. But that's not what he sent me. He straight up sent me a fucking vomiting emoji. Like, dude, your idea, fuck you. Bleh. And I'm like, God damn.
It was the
So-
name.
After about the first 10, 15 seconds of being fucking offended, then I realized I wasn't that type of guy to get offended. I was like, all right, cool. So that kind of introduced a segue into a conversation, to which we had multiple conversations about, I'd probably say about 5 hours throughout the course of a couple of days. We hashed it out and what we wanted to do and kind of what I wanted to see. I'm like, I don't want a white dude as the speedster, and he's like, how about no, he came up with some wild shit. How about an Arabic dude? I'm like, no, I don't think that would work, especially in the location.
I think what it was is I want to say you wanted him to be Asian, and I think because it was in Dallas, I had lived in Plano, and there was a big Vietnamese
No,
community up
you're
there.
right. Yeah, that
And I
was
was like,
it.
hey, if he's in Dallas, let's make him Vietnamese. That
Well,
would be-
because I think I'd never seen an Asian speedster. I barely seen an Asian superhero. That was
Mexican, actually.
outside of like Asian Superman, they were there to do some things for the Elseworlds thing. And he's like, how about, there's a big Vietnamese population outside Dallas. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so I'm like, okay, since he's in Dallas, he's like, who said that? Because that's how Matthew likes to play around. Who said that's where it's going to be? I'm like, motherfucker, you just said there was this huge population outside of Dallas. And I'm like, all right, cool. Because I'm also I'm trying to get away from Apogee being a completely West Coast company, because most of our characters are in the West Coast. Cardinal, Fenmock, Corbin Sparrow. Slayer and Prime just goes wherever the hell he wants to go, but some of the original incantations of his origin puts him in Cape Canaveral, Florida. So I was like, all right, Dallas, cool. So we're going to spread this out. We're going to spread the whole hero base out, which is a great thing to do because these characters are operate in the same world, and eventually they get to go play in other playgrounds. They get to play in Dallas, they get to play in Florida, they get to play in, the West Coast of California, in the Bay Area, blah blah blah. So multiple conversations I had with Matt about it, and all I had for him was a shell. I had what he'd look like. I'm like, this is what he looks like. He's got this interchangeable electric face shield that expresses his emotions. This is what his suit looks like. He's like, okay, I can work with that. So he went to work. He's like, hey, give me about 2 weeks. Didn't take 2 weeks. Took him about a week. He's like, hey, I got a sample. I'm all right, cool. So he sent it to me, and I was like, okay, this is funny. It breaks the fourth wall. It makes fun of superhero tropes, especially involving speedsters. I'm like, give me the full script. And he's like, it's going to take me another 2 weeks. Didn't take another 2 weeks. So he's kind of like the Scotty of comics. So whatever time it takes him to do something, he's going to add double the time to it. So he seems like a miracle worker. So if you ever hire Matthew Hasso, expect that. If he tells you it's 1 week, you're going to get a half week. If he tells you it's 2 weeks, it's going to be a week. Because he's that fast. Because he has ADHD and he can't sit still. So that made him perfect for Quickwire.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Dude, you have to stand up in every podcast we do, and you're always just like shifting. Someone explained to me that has ADHD in this class that I'm in. He's like, it's like trying to do normal stuff while someone's trying to tickle you.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, dude, because you guys are always shifting and moving and whatever. But
yeah, I can't sit and talk. It just doesn't work for me.
I can only imagine when he calls me from his car. He's just like shifting and moving and like
no. Then I'm doing the Millennium Falcon thing. I'm just weaving through traffic. But yeah, I mean, I think that was what it was. I guess when you brought it to me, like it was just you had, like you said, bare bones. You knew what he looked like, and I was like, all right, let's play with this. And it was, I think I've said it before, it's like the idea of doing a superhero who's having a good time being a superhero, who would his coolest dream would be to be a superhero, and now it's his chance, and he's going to go crazy.
Well, and that was just a great juxtaposition to the heroes who I had established, where they're all reluctant heroes.
Yeah,
they're guys that like just, who else is going to do this but me, because I have the means, opportunity, and intent to do this, Jake. And then we have Tyler, who's just like, this is the coolest freaking thing that ever happened in my entire fucking life.
Yeah. I know how cool this is going to be. I'm going to have more fun and make it more cool.
And I'm going to talk shit about things I've read in comic books.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. And I think, I want to say it took me 2 months to write the first script, because I think I was writing I think
by the final draft the final draft took you 2 months. Your initial draft took you like a couple of weeks. And then I didn't say shit. You were just like, I can do better. I'm going to go back and rewrite this. I'm like, all right, cool. And then you got the revision. You sent it to me, and I'm like halfway through it. And you're like, no, fuck that.
Yeah,
I think I can do better. Because Matt's a perfectionist. And so 2 months, a few moments later, beep, 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 he's like, this is the hands off.
Yeah.
Everything's established. This is the shit. Read that and tell me.
Version 4.
Yeah, it's I think it was V4.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, I mean,
is it different?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I was like, okay, there's some subtle changes here. Does it overall enhance the experience of it? Like, you've established all these things, and you've called out these superhero tropes as, specifically for speedsters. Like, oh, you're gonna put. And I thought it was hilarious. Like, I was crying, laughing, reading. By the time, I mean, not that I wasn't crying the previous versions, but version 4, I was like, I'm crying, laughing. I'm like, dude, I can't read this because it's so goddamn funny, because you're just fucking shitting on all these tropes for the speedsters, and they're all accurate. You know, you brought up earlier on in the issues breaking the fourth wall. I was like, watch, they're gonna put me on a fucking abandoned airfield with like a motorcycle suit. 4 pages later, here this motherfucker is with motorcycle equipment on an abandoned airfield. He looks at the audience. He's like, "See, told you."
Yeah.
You know, so
They're gonna make me run. Just wait.
He's pulling this Deadpool stuff, and then we get to a point where they wanted to phase through matter, because in their minds they're like, okay, if you can vibrate your molecules fast enough, because they read too many Flash comic books, you should be able to do this. And he tries and he tries. He's like, I can't do it. And he runs flat into a wall at max speed and knocks himself out.
Yeah. We get the Wile E. Coyote thanks to Harsh Stroke over here. It was great.
You know?
I love it.
You know, and it was probably one of the coolest things I've seen, because he pops up and he shakes himself out of, a concussion. He's like, told you it wouldn't work. Figs don't work like that. You know,
he's got the cracked helmet.
He's got the cracked helmet. Hardstroke did a really good job with that part. Those are one of like those monumental moments. Like, I don't remember a whole lot of things from the pages that I read, which sounds bad, but
okay.
I read things to make sure that there's continuity and storytelling value. Matthew's my deep dive. He's the one's like, okay, this panel needs to be this way. That arm needs to be this way. Like he really gets deep in the weeds. I read it for pure entertainment value. I get that opportunity as the owner of the company. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. That looks cool. Okay, that's cool. Oh, that's funny as hell. I'm like, I almost peed myself laughing so hard because the joke landed.
So you guys are doing a lot of insider baseball talking because you all know the comic, but not everyone listening will. So obviously he runs really fast, and sometimes in comic books, if you can run fast enough, you can sort of split the particles and run through things.
Yeah. So he does. Yeah.
So we took that in mind of the trope of basic speedster knowledge amongst the common reader or viewer.
Yeah.
And we kind of tipped it on Seer. That's a big paramount to Matthew's writing and Hardstroke's drawing capabilities, where we made those changes so it was 100% Apogee. It's like, we're not going to play those games. We don't have a Speed Force. We're not going to play with those altered physics that we see in other speedster tropes throughout multiple IPs. We're gonna have fun with it, and we did. We had a lot of fun with it.
Well, and what I really wanted to do with this issue, and I've had a few people say something like, I didn't even notice, is there's no villain in the first issue.
Right.
At all. It's just burning through his origin. Let's get him to the point where he's got his powers. Let's get him to the point where he realizes he wants to be a superhero. And by the end of the first issue, he hasn't worn the suit yet, except for at the beginning where it's in present time.
Yeah, we took a Tarantino approach with that. We
did a cold open
and moved it back. Yeah,
but it's like the very last panel is what he says. Don't worry, the villain will be in issue 2, and that's
a great setup too. That's a great setup page.
Yeah, but I really like the idea of like it's a superhero. We know origins. It's a fun, but we could be done. By the end of the second issue opens with, when he first appears in the next issue, he's in a suit and he's like, cool, now I'm this guy, let's make this work. And then he's thrown into one of the most terrifying situations anybody could ever imagine.
So speaking of that terrifying situation, for parents that are listening, because not all comic books are created the same when it comes to what's appropriate for families, how would you rate this comic for someone saying, my young kid likes comic books? Is this okay for them?
It's PG. The first issue's PG. The second issue gets a little more PG-13. There isn't like a lot of gore.
I would say that probably gets more in 13 realm.
Yeah. Once the villain shows up,
it does go to R though.
Do what?
At no point does this first 4-issue arc go into R.
No, isn't any. It does kind of the villain who shows up later can be terrifying. And even though at this point we haven't drawn him yet, like
we just haven't finalized what
we
he
haven't
looks like.
finalized this thing. But the idea of what he does, because he's imagine if like a stretchy character was made of nanites and he was a murdering psychopath. And that's what he is.
Okay, I'm going to dream about that later. Thank you.
You're welcome. So it was just kind of one of those, like, I didn't want to do the thing of like a speedster going against a speedster. I'm like, what would be the most difficult thing for a speedster to fight? And that's somebody who could stretch, because you can't defeat them by hitting them super hard. They can trap you in any number of different ways. So that was what I wanted to do with the villain. But honing back onto this first issue, it really was like, let's get everybody on board with this guy. I'm a big fan of, look, sometimes comic books or superhero stories can be ridiculous. I call it the bad boys syndrome. The first Bad Boys movie is dumb as crap. The premise, the idea, the story is stupid. But Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are so captivatingly entertaining and have such great chemistry. You're just there for the ride. So if we can get everybody to fall in love with Quickwire the first issue, it doesn't matter how bonkers things happen after that. Everybody just wants to see what he's doing.
Because they're gonna get bonkers.
Yeah, and I think that's where, when we get into pseudoscience and stuff like that, you just had to make, again, if Harshstroke loves Tyler and loves Quickwire, he's going to love drawing it. And he's also not going to care, like, this makes no sense, but I'm going to draw this anyway. And I think that's the key to him, because unlike some of these other characters like Phantom Hawk or
Bengali
Prime or Bengali, like, he has no previous thing. This is his legit 1000% debut. So I really want to make that first issue like boom, bang, bang.
Because there's so very few characters that get released in the comics, and they're like, this is 100% the thing that I've dreamed about since I was a little kid.
So when we talk about this Quickwire comic book, this Quickwire superhero, it's also brain damage, Swiss cheese memory. It happens. Is he operating solo? Is he part of some sort of superhero team, a la the Avengers?
Not yet. Not yet.
There are not technically enough characters in the Apogee universe for there to be a team at this time. It is coming.
The goal is to eventually team up with one of our other characters that's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
As like a buddy cop type deal. But that's multiple issues down the road.
Yeah. So yeah, right now, every one of the characters in Apogee, unless they're a partner or specifically like a team like Blackjack, is like, most of them are all individual stories, and then we will bring them together eventually. So right now, he is, I don't want to give too much away, but ultimately the entire story arc, he is by himself.
He's rolling solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he does have his supporting cast that helps him out in his adventures. But as far as like being paired with another superhero within Apogee, it's a couple of issues coming.
Yeah.
Which Harsh is going to have a really awesome time later down the road drawing some shit.
I had a lot of fun doing the first issue. I always try to take whatever I have to draw and associate it with different stuff. And the first stuff that I associated Tyler with was White Monster and a song that is called Speed by Atari Teenage Riot. And he's like, I got it. Then when I started to read the script, it was like, man, this guy is like me. This guy doesn't.
He's like super punk, right?
He's so chill. And like, yeah. Don't worry, we have this. So it's really funny. I tell Matthew that he reminds me of the brother of Taylor, Joshua. We kind of have that.
A little bit, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no,
he's the serious one. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Are you okay? This is why you're wrong.
There wasn't a whole lot of that behind the scenes while we were editing this book, but
Yeah.
but there was some.
No, I mean, well, and I think too sometimes. So for those who don't know, the script's written first, as it should be, and then we do something a little different. I like doing like a group and having the artist post every page, and then if there's something that I'm like, I'll kind of give notes and then let them kind of redo it.
He's like, "Hey, Nick, did you see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it looked fine to me." He's like, "This is why you're wrong." I'm like,
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, I'm the owner of the company. What do you mean I'm wrong? He's like, and then he breaks it down, and I look at it through his lens. I'm like, okay, you're right. You should probably change that.
Every time I had a comment from Matthew, I was like, in the comics, yes, sir, don't worry. And when I was writing, like,
yeah, yeah, I know that yes, sir, has a finger at the end.
Yeah, it's probably this one. Probably this one.
He's like,
He's
yes,
like,
sir,
I drew this.
Punctuate it.
yeah.
Yeah, but even when that happened, me and Matthew would have a conversation. We'd come to I'm sorry, a common ground. It's like, hey, okay, no, I see what you're saying. Maybe if we did this, so we'd have a back and forth. It's like, all right, well, I mean, what if we did this? And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, shit, maybe that would work, because making comic book is a symphony, as I've always said. It takes a group of people working in harmony to make things sound right or look right. If you ever gone to a 8th grade concert, some of them are really good. Some of them are like, what the hell are you doing to my ears?
Yeah.
So we take that same approach while we're making comic books. It's like, how's this going to look to the eye? Is it going to flow well? Is it going to make sense? If you took the words out of it, is it still going to make sense? And I think that's something that me and Matthew constantly agree on.
Yeah.
If we took the captions and the word balloons out and thought balloons out, would it still make sense without a literary guidance of some kind? And that's what we try to go for. And I think we nailed it in these books that we've done, me and Matthew together. Not only Quickwire, but Phantom Hawk and Bengali 4, which we might rebrand as Bengali 1. I'll talk to you about that later, Matthew.
Let's not make decisions on air, please.
But I'm just saying, we're so far in advance right now with when this airs that actually could happen. So some of those decisions are still up in the air, but the overall thing is that we all started in this business not really knowing what we were doing.
So for those that are listening, where is Quicksilver set location-wise?
Dallas, Texas.
Quickwire is set.
I'm sorry. This is my head injury. I apologize. Quickwire.
Quickwire
is set in Dallas, Texas.
Current timeline. The first 5 pages, what's called a cold opening. It just kind of gives you it's an action scene with the main character, and then at the end of that action scene it's basically like let me tell you how I got here. So technically, the rest of the first 4-issue story arc is him telling you how he became Quickwire. So it's just kind of a story of his first real battle, what it goes into, what happens, and what happens to him at the very end. So it's a nice opening. It's a nice introduction to this guy. But yeah, it takes place in Dallas, Texas. Because for me, the hardest part sometimes with Marvel is when everything takes place in New York. I feel like the heroes would be helping each other a lot more because you'd be running into each other all the time. So to keep one in California,
we have no Apogee heroes anywhere close to Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. So it helps these characters have to solve their own problems. Like he can't. One, he doesn't even know Phantom Hawk exists. But 2, like he doesn't have his number.
Or Bengali.
We did. Or Bengali. Or
Solarin.
Or Solarin or any of these other characters. So I like the idea of keeping them kind of separate for now. And then when they need to come together, that's when we'll figure out a way for that to happen.
Well, I think that's probably the key selling point right now is like we sell that the Apogee universe is inclusive, but we haven't stitched them together yet. you know. So everybody's kind of like on pins and needles, like, how are you going to stitch these characters together? Because you have Bengali and Phantom Hawk on the West Coast, and how are you going to stitch them to somebody in Dallas? And then you guys have been teasing Corvid and Sparrow for freaking years, you know, and from what you've teased, they're on like the East Coast or they're international. How are we going to stitch those together? So when we do that, it's going to be a really surprising kind of like display of how we bring them together, you know. So like right now, Quickwire's on his own, dude. He has to figure out his problems.
Yeah.
You know, and he does in creative ways as we go through the arc, you know, because he doesn't have any support other than his supporting cast. His brother, the female tech agent that's running the thing, who has ulterior motives, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to give anything away. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Quickwire that's pretty awesome as you delve a little bit further into the issues. And Matthew did a really good job of like leaving that breadcrumb, leaving you for more. You know, it's like, okay, we're here at the end of this issue. Oh wait,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So the next issue is going to give me some more information. I'm down for that.
So one of the things that people like about indie comics is when Marvel and DC were going super political. Whatever you think about their politics, a lot of people like that indie comics kept that out where they could just enjoy it without having to think about real world issues.
Right.
I'm not taking a political stance left or right. I'm just saying one of the things people like about indies is they don't have to do that. So in that realm, some indies obviously do, and I'm not judging that either. In Quickwire, do you guys
Thank you.
a Quickwire and in Apogee, do you guys keep the politics out of it and just keep the fun that we loved as kids, or does it go in there and take sort of stands on current day issues? What is the Apogee policy and the Quickwire comics specifically?
Well,
There are
here's the. Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
okay. There are absolutely no plans to get into the politics or current events. It as much as it takes place in our world, it is our world of comic book superheroes. So, not to be weird, but like, I'll jump ahead a second. We're about to deal with an alien invasion. The last thing we're
that's
going to
gonna be
care
awesome.
about, the last thing we're going to care about is like, okay, these tariffs suck or whatever. Like, there's not these heroes are here to do their thing, to get into. Phantom Hawk is literally on a mission to find a cure for himself and to avenge his fellow
Teammates.
That's his mission. That's all he cares about. That's what he's doing. Bengali is literally fighting the demon within his powers and trying to make sure that these other ancient beings that could be coming don't take over the world. There's no time for them to be like, you know what? Let's cover this one thing that doesn't have anything to do with these, world-threatening events that we're all dealing with in different places. So that's kind of my stance on it. I think the more you, like you're saying, the more you address that stuff, the more you have to pick a side. And now we're potentially dealing with backlash or splitting the fan base on something that doesn't make our stories better or worse.
I know there is a little bit in that with Bengali, at least he's a combat veteran, but I think as Americans, at least, and I don't know, obviously Heartstroke is not from America, but I think we've gotten to the point where we can accept soldiers, they go where they're told. And if you have problems with that, you take it up with the politicians left or right. So I think the soldier angle, at least at a raw level, is very apolitical. Since, from what Nick has said in previous issues, you don't really dive into the war itself, just the aftermath.
Correct. Because the thing of it is, it's like, I'll say this. It's not really a political stance, but like, no matter where you stand, those soldiers were doing their job. There's no reason to treat them in general, poorly. Like, hey, they got PTSD because they were told to do something that they could not physically or mentally handle. We should not just disregard them because of that. So we do deal a little bit with some of that, but it's more to further the plot of this action adventure story, not to get into the political stance of what that means. But that's how I feel. And I've never served the military. I'm not any kind of veteran, but I think that's where, personally for me, I stand in that way of like, I'm never going to talk bad about a military guy. It's still recording, so we'll
have the show for us.
I know. All right, so let me ask you, Harshstroke.
We are the bosses now.
What is your favorite scene that you feel like you drew in this thing?
I think the splash page when he's hearing every goon there in the page.
Oh yes, okay. In the opening,
the one that I had to draw again because you asked me for weapons, and I was thinking on knives because you in America use guns, and we here in Mexico
weapons is guns for you. Weapons is melee weapons. Yes,
because I did bats, stuff like that.
But no, and then
that's my favorite part.
So let me ask you this: like, you've read all the issues, correct?
No,
I thought you had read everything. No,
yet.
Okay. Sorry, JR. You guys left, and I kept interviewing Harsh.
No, you were fine. StreamYard is acting wonky tonight, and so it keeps kicking the hosts out for some reason.
Well, it was still recording, so we kept going. So
no,
I'm gonna ask him one more question.
Maybe I
just get back
about the script. Maybe I just was like, yeah.
Okay.
Remember Tyler personality.
That's true. That's true. Like, is Tyler in this? I don't care if he's not here. I don't want to hear. Yeah.
Issue 2 is like in the. Yeah, he has the suit in issue 2.
Yeah, he has a suit in issue 2 with it. Yeah,
that's why I ask when we start to the issue 1. That's why I asked something about the suit, and you were like, "No, he's not using this in this issue," and I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah, he doesn't have the suit after that first 5 pages. He's just walking around with whatever.
Right. Yeah, sure. Well,
yeah. Hey, all I think about right now is I remember when I was doing acting and somebody would send me the script and I would read it. They're like, "What'd you think?" I think my character is great. I didn't read anything else if my dude wasn't in it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and so I know that you kind of picked up the design from something that Nick brought to you.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you like when you had that design? You did kind of add your own flair. What is something that I know it's a really weird question? Is if there's a next version of his suit, say like after this arc, we decide to change his suit. What's something you think you would change on his suit if you could?
I'll change 2 things. Maybe the design of the helmet.
Okay.
Just to have a variation of that, like because something I look at was because I'm a fan of is the Halo helmets.
Yes.
And when I was looking for that stuff, I was like, there's a lot of like really cool designs that I would like to put into that, but I don't know if it will work. And the little lines, I don't know how to say that. The lines around the
design on the Kevlar.
The design is like. Man, it's like drawing Spider-Man every time. Like doing that is like, man, I will have to do that a lot of times next issue.
Yes,
it's like, man, I will get rid of that.
See, that's when it's fun to be Nick, as he gets to create a costume and then let you draw it panel after panel after panel.
That's true. I get to create that thing.
Yeah. It's not his fault. You good luck drawing it more than 3 times.
I will just take my page like little and I will like that's it.
Yeah.
You have to do more.
That's why I laugh when I was doing my own book and I was creating these costumes and I got to the point where I was like, I had made like one version where they were super technical and complicated.
They're freaking horrible.
Yeah, and then I was like, this is why all of Jack Kirby's costume
not that the design was bad. Is like as an artist, I'm like, oh man, if I had to draw that intricate bullshit for fucking 32 pages, I would shoot the writer.
That's why I always laugh when I said, looking at Jack Kirby's designs, all the stuff, it's super basic because he knew he's going to have to draw it 8,000 times.
That's cool stuff.
That's what I try to do with Quickwire, and we had some multiple discussions like, oh, we should add some like antennas to the side. Like I did this Pantheon drawing of all the characters of Apogee, and like Matt was like super adamant about adding like these things on the side and like some sort of cone shit on the head.
I wanted the if you ever look up Bubblegum Crisis, the anime, it's like
Oh,
the anime helmets where they always have
no.
the things on the
So
side.
I did that. It looks stupid. You know, I mean, I did my best to make it look as cool as possible, but like when I
It's
did
weird.
the drawing and because the premise of that cover or that poster was that Quickwire was moving so fast that he was in multiple places at once. You know,
Yeah.
so I drew
You need
that,
to
and
redo
then
that.
I got to redraw it because I don't need those fucking radar dishes on his bullshit anymore.
So
That's true.
Yeah.
as we try to keep this on
I
track,
think the idea of speedsters that has to be streamlined and airlined.
Yeah.
so
What was that, JR?
obviously,
Sorry.
as we try to bring this home for people that have not
Okay.
looked at the comic yet, right? First off,
Okay.
we will link to it. It will be on sale on the apogeecomics.com website.
Okay.
When
Yes.
is it going for sale, Nick?
It'll be on the website when we go to the convention on November 15th is when it debuts. So it should be on the website available for purchase at that time. Is that correct?
I don't know if Nick can hear us because StreamYard.
November 15th, it'll be on sale.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
November 15th.
So if you want to check it out, the pictures
On the website, it'll be available for purchase. It's going to be a baseline issue, no lenticular cover or anything like that. We're going to do that later.
I will smile and nod and pretend I know what that means.
Okay.
So it will be on sale when this episode goes live. The links
Jeff
will be
breaking
in the
up.
show notes, so you can check it out yourself if you
All
like.
right,
comics.
JR, repeat that thing one more time.
I said it will be on sale when this episode goes live. So if you want to check out the images yourself, you can do that. We don't have them available for the discussion tonight, but if you like comic books and people that run really fast, this sounds like it's right up your alley. So check it out. Support your independent content creators. And with that, Matt, where might listeners and viewers on the wild interwebs stalk you?
Okay, if you want to stalk me, you can find me across all social media at the Hasso Man. And then you can catch me minimum once a week on my podcast, DC Junction with a K.
Any truth to the rumor that you're going to have a branded jalapeno company that sells merchandise and food?
There was a very brief time where my oldest daughter thought that we should have a restaurant called Hasso Nacho. And not that it's a bad name. I just don't want to own a restaurant.
I want nachos.
Oh my God.
That'd be a cool name, though. I'm digging it.
I know. It was like the writes itself, but I was like, no, it's okay. But maybe we'll make the shirts. We'll have to see.
All right. Nick is also being hated on because StreamYard is acting a little bit wonky today. Harsh Stroke, where might we find you on the wild interwebs?
Yeah, I just Instagram and TikTok, but mostly Instagram. Yeah.
So when you do art, are you only doing for comics or for people looking for like novel covers and such? Do you do that as well?
Whatever you want. If someone approach me and brings money with him or her, I can do.
Yeah.
Because I don't do stuff for free. That's
Yeah.
for real. But yeah, whatever you want, I can do some commissions, and yeah.
Yeah. Our stroke, we call that mercenary mentality. If you pay me, I will do the thing you ask
I'll
me to
do
do.
whatever you want.
There you go.
I see nothing wrong with that. So absolutely, that is a good answer. All right, Nick, since today you are coming to us, as
Are we waiting on me? What's going on?
where can we find you on the wild interwebs, Mr. Nick?
Well,
Garber?
I've had to switch like multiple platforms because I'm doing it through hotel internet.
Yeah, so you can find Nick across all social media at Apogee Comics on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then Nick Garber, do you have your own Twitter handle, or do you
He
just
does.
do
Nick
everything-
Garber Art.
It's
Okay,
at
Nick Garber Art.
Nick Garber Art.
And I will link
Perfect.
all of that in the show notes.
I'm running off hotel internet, so I apologize in advance. I'm like 30 seconds behind everybody else. I'm getting like a mixture of
it's like a bad kung fu movie.
People commenting.
All right, so this is the part where I remind you, dear
That's
listener, to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platform. Your reviews help the right people find the right book, so do your part. So, Matt, are there places for people to review comics if they're not buying them on Nick's website?
At this time, I think there's a distribution that I, for some reason, have forgotten. So I will get you the link later, so you can put it on the thing.
Sounds like a plan. And you can find us, a dear listener, on our Linktree, linktr.ee, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast. Again, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast, where we link to all the things, the BitChute, the Rumble, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Twitters. We've got our Spotify, our Discord. We lost our Nick. We've got our Blasters and Blades Facebook group and Facebook page. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Again, blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. For professional purposes only, people. Save the shenanigans from Adam Stabby Stab over there on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to put in the comment section that it's for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that coffee brand coffee till it pours out of their eyeballs, people, and we will swim away on a river of caffeinated coffee goodness. If you want some of that coffee brand coffee, link is in the show notes. Discount code podcast grunts. You get 10% off. We get a little bit of a kickback. And with that, I forgot to ask, Hearthstroke, since you are in Mexico, do you guys drink, do you have your own style of coffee that's known to be Mexican? I mean, I've had Cuban coffee, and I understand that's unique. Is there an equivalent in Mexico?
Not really. Most of the people just drink Starbucks stuff, like
okay,
all of the globalization, that stuff. Yeah. Well, we have like some stuff that it's called café de olla.
Oh, I've had that.
I don't know actually how it works, but they just make it in a big pot. That's
okay.
Oh, he lives in Mexico City, so it's pretty modern. It's not like he's in the backwoods of Mexico.
Yeah, most of the people you'll see is like just with their Starbucks stuff. And
yeah. That doesn't mean there isn't culture that they could have their own thing, Matt. I mean, like,
I mean,
we have Mac burritos.
I mean, you've got Paris, they've got Starbucks, but they also have baguettes and, surrenders. So, each culture has its own thing. I know I went there.
We have jalapenos, actually.
Jalapenos.
In Starbucks.
There you go.
So do you guys get behind the pumpkin spice latte season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it.
So you do the basic white girl. Okay, I can do it.
Basic white girl, actually.
Yeah,
okay. We have our own white girls. It's called white chickens. Yeah, that's a real stuff. Google it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
With that,
thank
you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. And we are sorry, dear listener, between Nick being on deployment with the Border Patrol and having crappy Wi-Fi and StreamYard's just not liking us tonight. It's been a little bit rough going, but we think it's still listenable. So thanks for putting up with us. And with that, we will see you next time. Boom.